In the 1970s, coffee was everywhere on television. Folgers, Maxwell House, Sanka, U-Bahn, filling commercial breaks with jingles, soap opera drama, and cup after cup of mountain-grown, freeze-dried, automatic drip coffee that was good to the last drop. But while coffee brands were dominating TV, something strange was happening behind the scenes. Americans were actually drinking less coffee. The 1970s weren't a coffee boom, they were a coffee struggle. And those commercials were the last hurrah of canned coffee before the rise of a completely new culture around the drink.
We're the third largest coffee in America. We got there by tasting great. We're the third largest coffee in America. So come along with us and drink the
For most of the 20th century, coffee was America's beverage. It was rationed during World War II. It's what the soldiers drank when they were overseas, and it's what fueled the workforce back here at home. And by the 1950s, coffee consumption was at its peak, with the average consumer drinking a half gallon a week. But by the 1970s, things had changed. Younger Americans weren't reaching for coffee as much as their parents had. They had soda, juice, and by the late 1970s, soft drinks had overtaken coffee as the number one beverage in the United States. Even the people who still drank coffee weren't exactly thrilled about what they were getting. Major canned brands were cutting corners and blending in Robusta beans, which were cheaper and harsher, and they gave supermarket coffee a reputation for being bitter or bland. Ironically, the decline didn't mean fewer ads. It meant more.
Maxwell House is
Good coffee.
Maxwell House is
Good show.
Maxwell House had Willie Tyler and Lester in their ads. They also had Margaret Hamilton, the witch from The Wizard of Oz.
Good.
So good, I'll be selling a lot.
She played Cora, the storekeep obsessed with Maxwell House.
Maxwell House ADC.
ADC, automatic drip coffee.
ADC was a marketing term coined by Maxwell House. They were saying that their blend was designed to work better with an automatic drip machine, like the Mr. Coffee, which was becoming very popular at the time.
ADC's made just for the new coffee makers, specially ground and blended. Tastes so good, 3 of the machine makers recommend it.
And it was baseball great Joe DiMaggio who was out there selling Mr. Coffee.
Thanks for the rebate, Joe.
You're welcome. And now when you buy a Mr. Coffee, I'll send you a $5 rebate check, too.
Danny Thomas endorsed Norelco.
Norelco's new coffee maker.
By the 1970s, instant coffee had been around for decades, but that decade marked a turning point in how it was being perceived. Instant coffee is made by extracting all the water from roasted coffee beans, then drying them into a powder or a granulate, and then you just add hot water and it reconstitutes into something vaguely resembling coffee.
January 15th, 1969, freeze-dried Sanka brand coffee is introduced.
Prior to the 1970s, these were spray-dried granules, and they were considered to be inferior to your usual coffee. But now, freeze-dried coffee, it promised a flavor and aroma that was a lot closer to real coffee. Taster's Choice was dancing across our TV screen.
We're likable. We look alike.
We smell alike.
We taste alike.
And then there was Maxim coffee for people who didn't.
Introducing new Maxim with a new rich ground aroma and rich taste closer than ever to fresh brewed coffee. So close they'll think you did when you didn't.
Honey, you didn't.
I didn't. It's new Maxim.
Sunrise Coffee promised a taste that was not bitter.
With the end of bitter coffee. End of bitter coffee, bye-bye. Sunrise is here.
This was a Nestle brand from the 70s, and it faded away. And after the trademark expired in 2008, they didn't renew it. Let's pour some out for Sunrise.
Ooh. Meet Instant Sunrise. Tastes better natured, not bitter. Because Nestle has discovered a way to mellow coffee with this, chicory. To let chicory bring out coffee's better nature.
Nestle was also pushing Nescafe in the late 1970s by having a woman on a boat.
Judith Lawson found that out when she set out to sail the world alone. Nescafe set out to win the world with a coffee that's more than rich, it's robust. The robust flavor that helped make Nescafe the world's largest selling brand of instant coffees.
They also had a man on a boat.
Ken Clift has a taste for the robust. He left the comfort of Long Island Sound and pointed east to sail the world alone. Nescafe set out to win the world with a coffee that's more than rich, it's robust.
Coffee companies were desperate to keep people loyal, and TV became its battlefield. This gave us some of the most memorable campaigns in advertising history. Throughout the late 60s into the 70s, Folgers ran ads with Virginia Christie playing Mrs. Olson.
I wish I could make coffee he likes.
I find you have to start with the right coffee, so I always use Folgers.
She was the friendly but nosy busybody that lived next door, was always popping into people's houses uninvited.
You think David will like it?
Oh, sure. Folgers is delicious. It's mountain-grown coffee.
She wasn't glamorous, but Mrs. Olson came across as trustworthy and comforting, sort of like our Scandinavian aunt who was always having opinions about our coffee.
Folgers is a big favorite in most of the country.
It tastes terrific.
You know, the funny thing, the actress was putting on a fake accent for this entire campaign. She would appear in movies and she wouldn't have the accent.
Oh, Mrs. Olson, he's always crabbing about my coffee. I could cry.
Good thing I didn't come empty-handed. This'll help. Folgers coffee.
Another commercial you would see was from Hills Brothers, the high-yield coffee.
New high-yield coffee from Hills Brothers. Specially roasted to give you as many cups as a pound of regular coffee. Yet you pay for only 13 ounces. Wow, and it tastes great.
This was important because people were very budget conscious in the 70s and coffee prices were rising.
Rich taste is only part of perfect coffee. Another part is smoothness. Now, General Foods introduces a totally new coffee that's both.
There was so much going on. There were decaf wars promising that you'll never know it's decaf. Commercial after commercial tried to convince Americans that they could still have the routine of coffee without the jitters.
Why can't they make a cup of coffee I like without caffeine?
Consider it done.
Sanka tried to convince you it was real coffee.
I only like real coffee. Sanka brand is real coffee, and taste it. It's great coffee.
This is real coffee.
My goodness, look at the lovebirds.
That's what happens when you fall in love with Sanka brand.
She laughs for that?
That's what happens when you fall in love with Sanka brand.
Why did the coffee bean go to therapy? He felt depresso.
Sanka brand, the coffee that lets you be your best.
There was another decaffeinated coffee named High Point that promised to decaffeinate your husband.
That's my husband. He's rugged, loving, and decaffeinated.
I decaffeinated him with this. New High Point. You see,
I didn't want him to have all that caffeine.
And there was Mr. Cooper's Supermarket, where they only sold Brim.
I sent you new Brim decaffeinated coffee. New improved freeze-dried Brim. Even smells more like fresh ground coffee than before. It's made from real ground coffee, like this.
It's so good, I didn't believe it.
A lot of these storylines focused on melodrama, housewives that were disappointed that they couldn't make good coffee for their husbands, or husbands that were disappointed in their wives.
Our first house nearly never got built. My wife was so bent on helping the builder. Woman, I said, leave that poor man alone and make us some coffee.
And a lot of this was aimed directly at the housewives that were at home seeing these commercials during soap operas.
Sponsored by Maxwell House Coffee.
The reason these ads feel like a last hurrah is because the entire canned coffee industry was about to be disrupted by something happening on the West Coast. In 1966, Alfred Peet opened his first Peet's Coffee shop in Berkeley, California. His style caught the attention of some young men from Seattle, and in 1971 they opened their place, Starbucks. At first, this was considered to be just some kind of niche curiosity, but over the next 2 decades, it became a revolution.
It's the habit of the 90s, the Starbucks stop.
Personal double tall non-fat cappuccino.
Decaf tall, non-fat, no whip, extra hot mocha.
What?
Decaf tall, non-fat, no whip, extra hot mocha.
People actually know what those names mean.
Espresso drinks, lattes, cappuccinos. Things that have been foreign to most Americans suddenly became mainstream. Coffee shifted from being a bland, bitter household staple to something artisanal, customizable, and fashionable. By the 1990s, the Maxwell House and Folgers jingles that were once defining coffee advertising now felt like relics from another planet. That's what makes the 1970s coffee commercials fascinating. They sat right on the intersection between decline and nostalgia. On one hand, they represent the end of an era when coffee was the universal American beverage. On the other, they capture a last massive push to keep coffee culturally relevant. Through catchy jingles and dramatic plots and endless promises of taste and aroma, when we see these ads today, they may seem campy or even silly. But they were fighting a real battle. They were fighting against changing taste and soda consumption, and a future that would look for a completely different type of coffee. The 1970s weren't the golden age of coffee, but they were the golden age of coffee commercials.
To make a single pound of his Colombian coffee, Juan Valdez must pick 2,000 coffee beans. Yet he still picks every one of those 2,000 beans by hand.
It was the final act of canned supermarket brands trying to hold on to the crown. The last hurrah of a world where a can of Maxwell House was more likely to be on the counter than a Keurig. Hey, I want to give a shout out to the people on Patreon. I always do this, and if you become a member, you could hear your name at the end of every one of these videos. Hey, I'll even plug your YouTube channel if you want. You just got to pay the $9 a month. You'll get the newsletter in the mail every month, along with some wonderful retro goodies, and you get all kinds of bonus content. And if $9 is too much for your blood, I get it. Coffee prices are high. You can go ahead and subscribe for just $3. You get a postcard in the mail, handwritten from me to you every single month. It's going to be a fun time for you. And look, if you want, you can go over there and join for free. I post some stuff that you can see, behind-the-scenes photos, behind-the-scenes videos, some special information about upcoming shows I'm doing. Lots of stuff. Grab your cup, go over and check it out. You'd be like my very good friends, Aaron Wester, Al Archer, Carson Loveridge, Chris, Dana Snyder, M, Jason Evans, Jason Yealy, Jarrett Rusky, Jamie and Tom, Jen, Matthew Chapin, Mike and Jess, my big brother Rob, and Nick Roche. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, make sure your cup is never empty.